Welcome everyone to day one of the Joy Challenge. And for the next 30 days, we're going to learn how to choose joy each day so we can experience joy for the rest of our lives. And it is a choice. We're going to Monday through Friday have these video devotionals just for a few minutes each day to get you started practicing choosing joy, whether you feel like it or not, because joy is not a feeling, it's a focus. Joy is a choice. And so the level of joy you experience in your life is determined only by you, not by anyone else, what they do or don't do, because joy can't be controlled by another human being. And joy is not determined or derailed by the problems and the suffering you endure, because joy is something from within. It has nothing to do with your circumstances on the outside. But you have to choose joy. It's a gift from God that only God gives. And it's so much deeper, so much more fulfilling than happiness, which has to do with your circumstances and the happenings around you being perfect, which they never are. That's why happiness is an illusion that's always just out of our reach. But joy is right there for us if you're a Christ follower, because God wants to give you his gift of joy, that your joy may be full. He wants to give you that joy, but it's a gift from God that wells up inside us. But it has to be chosen. It's your gift as a Christ follower, but you got to choose it, whether you feel like it or not. You have to learn to choose it and practice joy each and every day. And then God begins to do amazing things in your heart and life and in your mind. Now, in the book of Philippians, written by the Apostle Paul, in Philippians 4, in the New Living Translation, he says, "Always be full of joy in the Lord. I say it again, rejoice." Always be full of joy in the Lord. Now, are you full of joy today? We're not always full of joy. We may be full of it, but we're not full of joy many times. Maybe you're full of anxiety or full of worry or full of stress or just full of despair, but not full of joy. We'd be full of bitterness, full of anger, full of confusion. But God wants you to be full of joy. Now, what's so amazing is Paul writes this book of Philippians, and it's often called the book of joy because it's all about joy. Now, he didn't write it on a beach somewhere on a holiday vacation. He wrote it in a prison, the Mamertine prison in Rome, and he writes to the church at Philippi, and it's a dark, damp prison, and he's in chains, and here he still writes this book. It's known as the book of joy in the Bible, all about joy. That's because Paul learned the secret of joy, that it's a choice daily. And every time you choose it, whether you feel it or not, God begins to do a work in your heart. And then you find something that circumstances can't steal, that's so divine and powerful, it'll carry you through life. Now, here's the interesting thing. In the book of Philippians, the word joy is mentioned 19 times in those 4 chapters. Just a really short book. We'll be looking at it. 4 chapters, it's mentioned 19 times. It's the book of joy. But what is the secret? In Philippians 4:4, he says, always be full of joy in the Lord. And those last 3 words, in the Lord, that's so important because there's another word that's mentioned over 40 times in the book. Jesus Christ is mentioned over 40 times in the book of Philippians, and that's why Paul could have joy. He knew intimately the source of joy, Jesus Christ. And so as we start this challenge, focus on Jesus, knowing that he loves you, whether you feel it or not, and he's still in control of all the details of your life, whether it looks like it or not. And we can go to God and pour out our hearts and go, God, I don't like what's going on. I don't know why you've allowed this circumstance in my life, but I am going to choose joy today. I'm going to choose to praise you in this, even though I don't see it. You begin to practice that, whether you feel it or you see it. You begin to choose it. And I'm telling you, at the end of 30 days, God's going to do a great work in our hearts and change us forever. So I can't wait to get started with you. Get started today, choosing joy. Just say, God, I'm going to praise you in this situation, no matter what. I don't feel it, but that's not the point. I praise you. Hey, God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's connect Monday through Friday on our Joy Challenge.